Hi, welcome to lesson 4. We're looking at attacking an unseen poem. We're looking at a new poem today and it's called Brothers. So set up your page, make sure you've got your title down and underlined and your learning objective down. Today we're going to explore how a poet presents a pivotal moment of childhood change through structure and contrasting verbs. And I think, just to be really clear, if I'm talking about this word here, if I'm talking about pivotal, okay, I mean that it's crucial, it's incredibly important in terms of a moment of change and development. So important to the change or development of something. Okay, so that can be good, it can be bad. We're going to be having a look at in this poem as to whether that change is pivotal in a good sense or a bad sense with these brothers that it is about. What I want you to remember while we're having a look at this poem is that we're going to use our versatile vocabulary, the 2 words that we learnt today. So we're going to make sure that we have them down to remind ourselves that we've got rational and emotional. In the bank, we've got vulnerable and we have secure and we have chaos and we have order. And then we have that little side bank of vocabulary that we've stolen from an Inspector Calls. So we have this, we have veneer, we have superficial, and we have idealized. All useful words when attacking poetry and any text that you haven't seen before. So firstly, the poem that we're going to look at today is called Brothers, and this is the title. And actually, before you start any poem, really, it's a good idea to think about, well, what does the title tell us? So what is it that we would expect of brothers? Okay, maybe let's start with a better question. What is the idealized relationship? So give me 2 things. What's the idealized relationship between 2 brothers? So 2 words that describe that relationship. And then give me the realistic relationship. Okay, how do they behave towards each other? Do they love each other? Do they fight? Do they argue? Do they bicker? What's the reality? The reality can also be a mix of things. Okay. And then I'll just give you a little time for a little bit of an extension. What else? Is there anything else that we're missing? When we think of the word brothers, what do we think of? And we can go from, ideas of masculine and feminine. We can go through ideas of what they enjoy doing together or what they might avoid doing together. Who else is important in their family when they are together? So anything else that you have as an extension. All right. Whilst we're reading through the poem, we're going to have a look at the following question as a bit of a guide for us. So we know where we're focusing. So the question that we're going to ask ourselves is, how does the poet, and thank you for writing this down, make sure you have it down, it's going to give you a really clear way to get into analysing the poem. It will firm it up in your mind, it will get all of the key points that we want to discuss down on the page. How does the poet present a pivotal moment of childhood change in the poem Brothers. Okay, for that, we can kind of identify that something's going to happen. There's going to be a change. So we need to be thinking about what is the change. And then we've also got this word here, pivotal. This is crucial for the brothers' development, probably both of them. What is it? What is pivotal? What happens and why? Those are the things we need to be thinking of. Okay, so just like last lesson, we're going to go through the same process when we read our poems. We're going to read the question, which we've done. I think annotating the title is a great thing to do, so you've done that. Then we're going to do our first read with no annotations. We're going to do our second read where we're going to work out what the story of the stanzas are. We're going to trace the narrative or trace the story of the poem, and then we're going to go into our annotations. So let's have a look. Brothers by Andrew Foster, or Forster rather. Saddled with you for the afternoon, me and Paul ambled across the threadbare field to the bus stop, talking over Sheffield Wednesday's chances in the cup, while you skipped beside us in your ridiculous tank top, spouting 6-year-old views on Rotherham United. Suddenly you froze, said you hadn't any money, said you hadn't any bus fare. I sighed, said you should go and ask Mum, and while you windmilled home, I looked at Paul. His smile, like mine, said I was 9 and he was 10, and we must stroll the town, doing what grown-ups do. A bus crested the hill. We chased Olympic gold. Looking back, I saw you spring towards the gate, your hand holding out what must have been a coin. I ran on, unable to close the distance I'd set in motion. Okay, so that's our first poem. Our first read of the poem. So I'm thinking to myself, on our first read, who's the speaker? Who do we think that is? What's the tone? So we know that the speaker is the older brother. But the tone is something that's a bit trickier to work out, because he's talking about, obviously, being saddled with his younger brother, sending his younger brother back to get money, and then just when the little brother gets the money, holding out to show him the coin, he runs away and he catches the bus without him. So I guess maybe the tone, seeing as this is a grown-up now writing about it, maybe is a little regretful, or maybe a bit guilty. I wonder what it is that he feels that he has lost, that he's regretting, or what he feels guilty about. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at our second read. Saddled with you for the afternoon, me and Paul ambled across the threadbare field to the bus stop, talking over Sheffield Wednesday's chances in the cup, while you skipped beside us in your ridiculous tank top, spouting 6-year-old views on Rotherham United. Okay, what is the story of that stanza? In no more than 3 to 4 words, tell me what's happening there. Pause it if you need to. Okay, stanza 2. Suddenly you froze, said you hadn't any bus fare. I sighed, said you should go back and ask Mum. And while you windmilled home, I looked at Paul. His smile, like mine, said I was 9 and he was 10, and we must stroll the town, doing what grown-ups do. Okay, stanza 2. What does the little brother realise? Where does he go? And what does the older brother and his friend decide to do? Trying to capture that in about 3 to 4 words. You might need an extra one here. Okay, so get that down in your book. As a bus crested the hill, we chased Olympic gold. Looking back, I saw you spring towards the gate, your hand holding out what must have been a coin. I ran on, unable to close the distance I'd set in motion. So stanza 3. What's the narrative? What's the story of that stanza? Get your ideas down. Okay, let's go back and check them. So number 1, what is it that we would add in here? Well, we would add something like speaker frustrated at looking after bro, and mine's not quite 5 words, but it's short. Okay. Second paragraph should be something like little bro goes back. Bro and friend this idea, his smile like mine, said I was 9 and he was 10 and we must stroll the town, kind of shows them agree to leave him. And then the final one. Saddest part of it all, big bro and friend abandon little bro. Sad times for him. Okay, now we've got that down. And now in the learning objective it says we're going to pull out some verbs, and that is exactly what we're going to do for our deep annotations. So our first verb that I'm really interested in is this one here, which is saddled. Okay, saddled literally means to attach things to an animal that will carry them for you. I think if we think of animals that can be saddled, we might think of a horse. A horse that has a saddle on it, but also has lots of extra stuff often put onto the back of it. Blankets, especially if you're in a cowboy film, frying pans, all hanging off it. This is not a good drawing of a horse, and I apologise to all of you horse lovers out there. It is a bad drawing, and it's going to get worse. Give the horse a face. Poor horse does not deserve a face like that. Here we go. Well, at least it's got legs, that's good. Okay, horse has its tail here, lovely, lovely tail. It's got its mane here, got its mane, got its eyes, some eyelashes, got a mouth. There's the horse. Now, this saddle's up here. It's saddled with these things. Where are the things saddled? Where are the saddled items? So just tell me where they are. And then how do they feel? Are they comfortable? Are they uncomfortable? Are they heavy? Are they light? And then having a look at the things that are saddled on, how are they attached? Are they attached comfortably, or do they feel something else if everything is strapped on? So the items strapped on feel how do they feel? Okay, now we're going to try and apply that logic to the speaker of the poem. So the speaker feels like an animal who has lots of things strapped to him, and the things strapped to him are the brother. Okay, he feels like the brother is strapped to him. So the speaker feels what things about being told to look after his brother? Give me 2. Actually, give me 3. And if you can work out the rest of this, B-U-R, bird, that will be a good start. Okay, the speaker, what does the speaker want instead? Okay, you might want to rewind the clip and have a look at the poem again. What does the speaker want instead? Who does he want to be with instead? Give me 2 things. Does the speaker want chaos or order? Who could represent the chaos and who could represent the order in the poem? Okay, get that down. Then, this one isn't a verb, but it is quite interesting. We then have how he describes who he is with. He is with you, verse, me, and Paul. With you, he is talking about the little brother. What does the little brother not have here? What does he not have? And what does that, not having that thing, what does that reveal about their relationship? Versus me and Paul. Now, me and Paul come as a bit of a pair. You is separate. Pair, verse, separate, reveals what about their bond, or what about their relationship. Whereas me and Paul's relationship, they are a pair. What does that reveal? 1 and 2. And finally, Paul, lucky Paul, he has a name. What does that reveal about Paul and the importance of Paul? And if you're feeling smart, add a second. Okay, so we've got this idea of him feeling saddled, and then we've got the difference between you and me and Paul. what I want to have a look at next are two more verbs that talk about the way that the two different groups move. So let's move this to the top. Actually, let's just flip the page. Okay. So Paul and the brother, they ambled. How do you move if you amble? Okay, well, the answer is that you are moving slowly and that you are probably quite relaxed. Okay. However, there's a real difference here, because the little brother is shown to have skipped. Now, if you skip, how do you seem? Okay, the little brother skipped, and that verb reveals what? That he is what? Is he grown up and mature, or is he something else? Give me 3 things that the verb skipped reveals about the younger brother. Now, once we've got that, if they're moving slowly and relaxed, they ambled. What does the verb ambled reveal about the older brother and about the friend Paul? How do they want to come across? What's the contrast between them? One wants to seem what, and the other one skipped, showing that they are actually what. So the contrast equals what? Write the contrast down. Now again, we see this contrast with with the discussion about football. So we have this masculine, spell it correctly, masculine discussion about football. Okay. Old-fashioned football printed on here with the old-fashioned pattern on it. They don't really look like that in the Premiership these days. You'd have black bits in there. Okay. Football here, they're talking about Sheffield Wednesday. What does that signify? What does that symbolise, talking about football? Okay, what is it that those boys are entering into by talking about football? What group do they become a part of if they're talking about football? So the older boys are a part of which group? Now, here we have that contrast in the verbs. So we have the verb talking, very serious talking, versus spouting. Now, we all know what talking means, but spouting, probably a little bit different. So here's my watering can. As you can see, it's brilliant. People are going to pay thousands for my artwork. Here's the watering can here. And out of a watering can spouts water uncontrollably. So the younger brother is described as spouting his views and his ideas, whilst the older brother is described as talking about them. Okay, the verb spouting shows that his ideas and he himself is what? Controlled or uncontrolled? If you have too much water, it then becomes like a what? If you have too much water, you can be, and there can be. So you can be what if there's too much water? If you're in a swimming pool and you can't swim, or if there's too much water that comes up from a river or a lake, you can be what? Okay. Now, what does that show about their relationship? He feels his little brother is what? Versus this idea up here of talking, the older boys want to seem what? Which two things do they want to seem? So that's stanza 1. Let's have a look at stanza 2 when the younger brother realises that he does not have the money for the bus and so he can't go with his older brother. So we've got this idea of suddenly you froze. The verb froze shows the little brother feels what by the fact he might not have the money to go with them. What does he feel? Turns him into an ice cube. The brother's reaction is then to do this. Now, I'm going to try and make the eyes really effective here. Really big rolled eye back. Some hair, scruffy hair of a 9-year-old. Nice teeth of a 9-year-old. But he sighed. Okay. Is he supportive? Or is he something else? How does he feel about his little brother? If you sigh, you feel what? Give me 1, 2, and 3 things. Now, as the little brother runs away to go and get this money from his mum, he windmilled. Okay, we get this sense that he is this big ball of spinning motion, spinning around and around and around. and around and around and around and around and around. Okay, so that verb, windmilled here, shows that the younger brother is what? What does he bring to the older brother's life? And how does he behave? Is he controlled? Is he uncontrolled? Is he chaotic? Is he ordered? Is he innocent? Is he childish? Now let's have a think about how that then contrasts with the older brother and his friends who want to stroll about town. This verb here, how is it that they want to appear? Walking side by side, calmly. How is it that they want to seem? Give me two things. Okay, and this contrast, what does that reveal? What is it that's splitting the two brothers apart? What's pulling them apart? Okay, finally, we have this quote, your hand holding out. We've got this verb holding out. Now if we can imagine this little boy running over the fence, and in his hand he's finally been given this money for the bus by the mum, and he's excited and he's happy and he's going to go to town with his big brother. Okay, he's holding out the coin. It's a big 50p. What does he want to show? What does he want to show? Okay, then we've got that. What does an open palm or hand symbolize? And then also, what can a reaching hand reveal? If someone reaches their hand out to you, what is it that they want or need from you? So give me 2 for each. And the little brother, with his palm open, what is it that he sees? He sees the speaker do what? Okay, what does he realize about their relationship at this moment? Okay, then how does he feel when he realizes that his brother and his brother's friend have gone? At this moment, is he secure or is he vulnerable? Now the older brother with the little brother down here, little bro is here, is running towards this bus like an Olympic champion. And he says, I ran on. This verb here shows what? What's the pace? And what's the speed? But then also, what's he trying to do by running from the little brother? So, first one is the speed, and the second one is why. And then what I want you to think about finally is what now, at this moment, what is between them? What has been created between the two brothers? When at this pivotal moment the little brother is left abandoned and the big brother is off catching the bus. What changes forever here? The older brother feels he had set in motion, and once something is in motion, like a wheel, it's very hard to stop it. Why is this distance, I guess, that's been set in motion, why is this pivotal? Give me 2 reasons why this is pivotal to both of their lives. Okay. Thanks very much. Make sure you get it all in your book.